Hello and welcome back to Green Money Momentum, where we talk about market movements, making money, and money momentum. I'm your host, Trevor, and today we're going to be talking about the top 3 stocks for the month of August. And the first trading day of the month was pretty bloody. So this could cause some fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and some panic into some investors. But for myself, I am very bullish on the markets, and I still think that we're going to continue to see a rip up this month. And with that, the 3 plays that I am most excited about. The first one, a favorite on this channel, he's back there, Mr. BigBearAI. We're then going to visit a stock that some say Big Bear has potential to become like in the future. That is Palantir. And we're going to finish with the president's stock, DJT, Trump Media and Technology Group. But of course, I want to say, as always, that this is not financial advice, and I always recommend doing your own due diligence before making any financial decisions. And I also want to say thank you to everybody who showed me support in the comments section over the last week. As many of you know, I was very sick with a cold. I'm still feeling a little bit under the weather today, but I'm starting to come out of it finally. But the last couple days were super rough. But for everybody who wished me kind words in the comments section, wished me to get better, I really do appreciate all of you. And it's all of you, all of my supportive audience, everyone who comes and watches and comments. It's all of you that keep me going. So from the bottom of my heart, I seriously thank you. And those kind messages really did help me get through what was a rough week, both sickness wise and in the markets. But now getting in to the stocks, a stock that has had a little bit of a rough time the last month has been Mr. BigBearAI. And we did see Big Bear initially have this big rip up all the way up to $8.50 to start July, but then it did get rejected at this level, fell back down to where this initial gap happened. So it did fill the gap, jumped right back up to around $8.50, but once again was rejected at that level of resistance and came back down to where we are sitting at currently, which is right at this level of support where this initial gap was. So filling the gap again, and now we are sitting at a spot that could be causing some to panic, because if we're just looking at the technical analysis, somebody who is bearish on the stock may be thinking that we are seeing a double top and we will return back to the low levels before we did see the rip up. But myself, I do not see that happening. I believe that we are going to see a big rip up in the Big Bear, and that is because of the news around the Big Bear. They do have a big earnings coming up, and also if we just look at the technical analysis, things are looking favorable for there to be another run up, especially if macroeconomic conditions do get better, which I believe they will, because this last week there was a lot of panic initially coming from Wednesday with the Federal Reserve holding rates once again and guidance from Jerome Powell not looking the best for the future, some worrying that we wouldn't even see a rate cut in September, which was initially projected. But then on Friday, we did get the horrible jobs report. And with that, this could potentially force Jerome Powell's hand to cut rates after all. So a very interesting spot where we are sitting at in the markets currently. And when we look at Big Bear on the technical indicators, first off, when we do look at the candlestick chart, we could see that we are locked right now in between this level of support and resistance. But what is positive is when we were on this highest level of resistance originally around 850, we were very very overvalued on the relative strength index and on the MACD. But since there has been a little bit of bleeding in Big Bear and in the overall market, we have returned now down to levels a bit more near Earth. So right now we are sitting at a level of 47 on the relative strength index. So a pretty fair spot for any investors who want to hop into the Big Bear for the first time or to add to their positions. And then on the MACD, we are looking a lot lower there also. So if we do see a reversal in price movement, we could see the blue cross back over the orange, signaling that there could be positive movements ahead. And I do believe there will be, because just this last week, we did get this massive news that Big Bear and DEFCON AI is collaborating to advance next generation military readiness. And wow, this is huge, because the whole reason why we got so bullish on the Big Bear initially is because of their big government contract that they gained earlier in the year with the United States Army. And so we have talked extensively with BigBearAI about their CEO and how he has ties back to Trump, and how he was formerly the head of the Department of Homeland Security, and how this company is in a very favorable position to gain more government contracts. And well, this right here is huge, because if you don't know what DEFCON AI is, well, they are a privately held defense technology company. They were established in 2022, and they develop AI-powered tools for military logistics and operations, offering cloud-based modeling, simulation, and analysis tools to the U.S. Department of Defense. And so this is absolutely massive, because with Big Bear, what we really need to push this company over the edge and really just get them soaring to new levels will be another government contract. And now that they are partnering with DEFCON AI, to me, this says that they are right in the position to do so. Both of these companies offer technology to the United States government. So a positive that they are collaborating. And with Big Bear, that's not the only big news we have, as we also do have their next quarterly earnings in 9 days. And so Wall Street is expecting for quarter two to be better than quarter one. Historically, BigBearAI has missed most of Wall Street's expectations, so there is the chance that they do miss again. But what I am looking for in this next quarterly earnings is going to be either the revenue from those government contracts showing up in quarter two, some of that money, or for Big Bear to have guidance for the future that does talk about that money showing up in future earnings reports. And I say that because in the first quarter of 2025, Big Bear did announce how the money from those government contracts hadn't yet shown up in the bank account. We know with government contracts that they do get paid out over times, and the payment can be delayed. But this is a positive with Big Bear, because if the money does get paid out over time and spread, this will only help with future quarterly earnings. And so myself, I am very excited for what we are seeing in the Big Bear. And if this quarter two does come in big, we could really see a massive surge up in the price in Big Bear, because there are a lot of bears against the Big Bear, a big short interest in BigBearAI, 24%. This is absolutely massive. And if you don't understand short interest, the higher it gets, if the price does start to push bullish, this is when we could really see a squeeze and see the shorts really be pressured to close their shorts, which will only further increase the positive price movements towards the upside. It is absolutely crazy. I would not feel comfortable shorting this stock, especially especially with how many bulls are behind the Big Bear right now, and with how appetizing the price is at just $6.45. And so talking about the earnings and how over time with their government contract and more they might obtain, how that will only improve their earnings over time. This is a company that some compare Big Bear to, the second stock that we're talking about, and that is Palantir. And many know with the story of Palantir, what has made the earnings in Palantir so exciting is initially a lot of the big contracts, a lot of the big deals that they were getting weren't showing up initially when the price of Palantir was a lot lower. But over time, the money did start to come in, and we could see that they have had an accelerating earnings. And so with stocks, there is value stocks and then there is growth stocks. A value stock being one where the potential has yet to be realized, and a growth stock being where the potential has been realized. The earnings are looking better. Everything is accelerating. That is Palantir. Investors believe in Palantir because of what we have already seen in Palantir, how the earnings only continue to get better. And when we look at Palantir on the technical analysis, we could see that we have been on this crazy rip up all the way since 24. So myself, I have an average price of Palantir right around $30, and I am going to be holding this stock to 200 and beyond, because if we just talk about what is happening in the real world, in macroeconomics, we have a president right now who is very pro defense, very pro AI. He's always signing new deals about AI. He did the big beautiful bill recently, which introduces a lot of spending towards defense. And we do know that Palantir's CEO, Alex Karp, has been very close to the White House this last year. And so Palantir, we look at it as just a stock, but if you research this company, there's actually a lot of people that really hate Palantir just because of everything they are doing when it comes to their information technology. A lot of people think that Palantir is spying on the American people, and they are not happy with how much information Palantir has. But just as investors, we are looking at everything that is going on, who the president is in place, and how this company is positioned for the future, and how they are really in a favorable position. So there's been a lot of haters against Palantir during this entire rip up, but this growth stock continues to only grow, and their next earnings will most likely push this stock even higher, because their next earnings is coming in 2 days. So on Monday, on August 4th, and I do believe that Big Bear will rip up because they will have another good quarterly earnings. They have no reason not to, with all their money coming in, with the backlog of everything they already have, and with what they have coming in the future. So I do believe that they are going to once again beat Wall Street's expectations, and they're going to come out with a positive guidance for the future. So myself, I am very bullish on Palantir. I am very bullish on BigBearAI. The reason why both of these companies are around AI, defense, and because of who we have in office right now. So whether you love him or whether you hate him, you got to acknowledge right now he is the president and what his focus is at this current moment. So if you really want to get rich in the market, you got to always be aware of what's happening with politics and policy. So like if we just look back in the market during Biden's time, a big talk during that time was clean energy and was EV and those types of stocks. Well, now with Trump in office, it's more around defense, more around AI. And so with that, now we're going to visit the president's stock. That is DJT, Trump Media and Technology Group. And if we're talking about growth versus value, this stock is definitely a value stock because there's a lot of intrinsic value behind DJT, but it really hasn't yet been realized, and the stock is still pinned down at just $17. So as you can see, I have a couple different lines drawn out here on screen. These are just to show the levels that we have really been fighting at over the last couple months. So DJT right now is sitting at just $17, which I consider to really be the basement of this stock. The floor sitting right around $21, where it held for a long time and where it has tapped multiple times in the stock's history. So right now, looking a bit undervalued at just $17. We could confirm that also when we look at the relative strength index, looking very low there at the bottom, sitting at just 33. And also looking a bit low on the MACD also. So things, when we talk just about technical analysis, looking very undervalued on DJT. And I truly believe that we are just coiling up for a massive surge that we are going to see. If you have followed this stock at any time during its history, you know that this stock can run up like crazy, and it has some breakneck movements towards the upside when it really gets running. And this stock could be a lot higher if it wasn't for all the halting and manipulation in the past. So there was a lot of momentum in this stock, especially during times like when Trump got shot in the ear, when he was running for president, during the elections, during the inauguration, everything like that. But the stock did keep getting halted and manipulated during these times, causing the price to push down. But during all of that, during all the negativity, when we look at just the price history, there's been a lot of positive that has happened around what the company has done. So they just announced their Q2 earnings for 2025. And I wanted to point out this because I think this says it perfectly. And it says, in a very short time, Trump media has reopened the internet for free speech, created an uncancelable social media platform and video streaming platform, expanded both platforms worldwide, amassed one of the biggest Bitcoin treasuries of any public company, and now we have our first quarter of positive operating cash flow despite having gone public just last year. So just in a year, this company has done so much when it comes to their Truth Social platform, having the app Truth Social, getting on Roku television, being a streaming platform, but also with everything they have done when it comes to finance, especially when it comes to crypto finance. This company has opened a big Bitcoin treasury, as mentioned here, $2.5 billion into the Bitcoin treasury of DJT. And they have also filed for a bunch of different crypto ETFs also. And when we just look at their balance sheet, we could see how much it has really jumped when it comes to their assets. So we could see that their liabilities have remained relatively low, but their assets continue to rise. So they have assets all the way up to 918 million. So we could see, when we look at the assets versus liabilities, this company is very positive there. And if we just talk about what the liabilities in DJT are, they really aren't much. So we could see they just have a couple accounts payable, some accrued expenses, other short-term liabilities, and not much when it comes to long-term liability either, just 7.4 million. And this is huge because when we talk about the life of a company, what could really push a company down over time and really hurt growth is long-term liability or long-term debt. As we could see, DJT does not have any of that. They have a ton on the asset side of the balance sheet, and they now have this big treasury within Bitcoin. So overall, things are looking very positive in DJT, and I cannot say enough how excited I am for the future of this company. I think that the value has just not been realized by a lot of investors, but there are a lot of big investors within DJT. We have talked about how there are politicians in DJT, the big state pension fund in California that bought into DJT, and just a lot of institutional investors also, as well as a lot of DJT fans, I'm sure, including myself. So I'm very bullish on DJT. I am very bullish on Palantir, and I am very bullish on BigBearAI. Again, with politics and with what we're looking at in the current time, we really got to pay attention to what the president is doing, and his main focus is defense, AI, and also cryptocurrency. There's been a lot this year that DJT, the president, has done when it comes to cryptocurrency, and the company DJT when it comes to cryptocurrency. We really are pushing into the mass adoption into cryptocurrency, and DJT, the stock, is taking advantage of it. And then the other two stocks are taking advantage of the AI and defense. But I would love to hear what everyone else thinks in the comments section below. So please drop a comment. Please let me know if you're bullish on any of these plays, or if there are any other stocks that you are looking at for this upcoming month. Also, please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Again, also, I want to say just thank you to everybody who wished me well this last week. While feeling sick, it was those kind words that really did help me get through. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video.